so happy to be back on camera. I miss filming like once a week. That Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary video consisted of like a month, and I just felt so inactive with my YouTube because of that. But now that's done and out the way, I'm glad I can get back to my normal YouTube schedule. Hey everyone, my name is itstyreneee and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, this one was requested on my Twitter. I want to say like a couple weeks, maybe almost a month ago or so. So I had posted a tweet on Twitter expressing that I wanted two fictional characters to interact with one another, and those two fictional characters was Riku from Kingdom Hearts and Elsa from Frozen. The tweet had got a lot of attention, and I actually had you guys quote retweeting Disney characters and Kingdom Hearts characters you wanted to see interact with each other. And then I made another tweet saying that I would be more than happy to make a video on all of the Disney and Kingdom Hearts characters that I wanted to see interact with one another, and you guys wanted it, so here you are. So for today's video, I have a list of Kingdom Hearts and Disney characters that I would like to see interact with. I'm also going to be eating in this video too. I just ordered me some Chinese food. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten today, so I'm going to film this because I have things to do later on today, and I'm going to eat while I'm at it, so I'm going to multitask. This is going to be a mukbang, and if y'all don't like mukbangs, I'm so sorry about that, but I'm hungry, and I don't know how long it's going to take for me to film because I'm kind of on a time crunch today. So yeah, it's not going to be ASMR, I promise. It's just going to be a straight up mukbang talking about what it is that I want to see with Kingdom Hearts and Disney characters. But before we get into the video, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And then follow me on all of my social media, which is in the description box down below. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Once I open up my food. You can get much, but of course when you order it's expensive. I got hot and sour soup. Maybe I should have asked them for extra tofu. I don't know if y'all know this. I feel like I said this before, either like on my social media or like on here on YouTube, but I am a pescatarian, so I can't eat any kind of meat except for seafood. So when I order like Chinese food, I definitely get like shrimp food and stuff like that. So this is shrimp lo mein. I asked them for extra shrimp and it cost like $5, but that's fine because I need my protein. Okay. Oh, hard too. Okay. Alright. Okay, there's a fork in here. Alright, let's get on with this show. Okay, so the first concept that I have on my list is Riku and Elsa. And I mentioned it that I wanted to see that on my Twitter, but I never went to full on detail. And so this is where the part where I go into detail as to why I want to see these two interact with one another. Is that meat? Okay, no, that's mushroom. Okay, so the concept is really on the top of my list when it comes to like Disney and Kingdom Hearts character interactions, even though I made it clear that I wanted this interaction on my Twitter. I never really explained why, and I believe that these two have so much in common with like the big and little stuff. It's so hilarious. The two of them are being the oldest and more reserved compared to like Sora and Anna, where Sora and Anna, they're both younger than Riku and Elsa, and they're really more like jolly and like happy-go-lucky and just like overall like a ball of sunshine. I'm not saying like neither Riku or Elsa aren't either, but they're more so like reserved and like I guess soft spoken and on a serious like attitude. Both wanted them to isolate themselves from the people that they love only to protect them, and their powers were really frowned upon, and it made them really question themselves as individuals, you know, with Elsa having snow powers or ice, and Riku giving in to the power of darkness. And they not only learned to accept their powers for what it was, but they turned it into something more, with Riku becoming a Keyblade Master in Dream Drop Distance, and then Elsa becoming the fifth spirit of the Enchanted Forest in Frozen 2. And their similarities were quite touched upon a little bit in Kingdom Hearts 3, but we didn't get that kind of interaction with them. Of course, Sora was the one who went to Arendelle with Donald and Goofy and not Riku. But, I mean, it's uncertain that these two would ever meet in the future games, but anything is possible because we're getting more Kingdom Hearts and Frozen 2 exists. And I'm hungry. I'm sorry. You might have to watch me eat for like a couple of seconds. I'm hungry. I'm starving. Eat more. Chew with your mouth closed. Bless you. I know it sounds like an ASMR right now, but I promise you, this is not what I'm trying to make it out to be. It's so good. And I got a Dr. Pepper too. Dr. Pepper's not my favorite soda. Root beer is my favorite, but they didn't have root beer, which is fine because I don't think most Chinese, I've never been to a Chinese restaurant that serves root beer. It's more so Pepsi products. The second interaction on my list, this is like really up there with like Riku and Elsa, but the second one would be Naminé and Rapunzel. I almost said Ramune. That would be like a ship name. Now, with Riku and Elsa, I really wanted them to interact with one another on like an emotional note. But like with Rapunzel and Naminé, I feel like it's gonna be like very playful. Cause not Naminé, I'm sorry, Elsa. Rapunzel is a very like, I don't know if this is the really best way to describe it, but she's like really like quirky and sweet and very adventurous, and they have a lot in common from the blonde hair, the creating art on their free time, and both of them having the dream of wanting to see the outside world. And I mean, these girls might as well be like long lost sisters. But on the serious note, both of them have suffered from being locked away from the outside world underneath the care of people with bad intentions who like mask themselves to be like the good guy, and they manipulate the manipulated individuals were surrounded by people who would fill their ears with like lies about their powers. Like Mother Gothel was saying that, you know, people are bad and only people want to be close with her, to Rapunzel, because of her hair. And I don't know about y'all, but I feel like Naminé being called a witch is more so of an insult than like letting her know about herself. I feel like that's an insult in my opinion. But Mother Gothel would always talk down to Rapunzel like she was a little kid. Like, yes, 18 is still young, but Gothel was speaking to her like she was underneath the age of 5. But that's besides the point. Thankfully, both of these girls are out of their toxic situations, and I just think it would be really cute and wholesome. For number 3 is gonna have to be Demix and Miguel. Now, I've only seen Coco one time, so I can't say that I really remember too much of what Miguel's personality was like. But I do know that these two don't really have like the passion to do anything else except play on their guitars or sitars for Demic's instance. But I don't see anything too serious with that idea or the interaction, but I think it would be those two to kind of have like a musical duet and just be like, oh my god, you like music? I like music too. And they just play it off. Number 4 is gonna have to be Ventus and Hercules. Now, before y'all start, I know y'all gonna already say, oh, they've interacted with each other before in Birth by Sleep. And I mean, we all know that a lot has happened with both of those characters after the events of those games. Vin's body remained hidden in the castle Oblivion, but his heart was stored safe with Sora, who was just a baby at the time. And then Hercules grew up to be the hero that he always dreamed of being. And thinking about this, I'm really just surprised, like, Vin's heart didn't react to Hercules when Sora first met him. I feel like it's for certain that these two need to reunite again. It needs to happen. I feel like it would be a crime if it didn't happen, because a lot has happened between the two, and they just need to catch up with each other and be like, oh my god, I haven't seen you in forever. and what's going on with their life now. I think that would be really, really cute. I think it would be interesting. I feel like well, it for certain, like a lot of these interactions that I have put in this video, like it would be nice to happen, but I feel like it would like for me this is kind of like number one, as I feel like it's bound to happen. Some of these are more like, oh, it's concept, not for certain if they will happen, but I feel like this one for sure definitely needs to happen. It wouldn't make no sense for it not to happen again. Like, please. 5 on my list is going to be Ianto and Milo, and I've only seen Atlantis like a couple of times that I could possibly count on my hand, but I think these two bonding over science and history and just overall the hobby of doing like research, shoot, maybe they could like tag team in research on doing some sort of like research on subject X, or like any similar events of like what's going on with Kingdom Hearts, or like if Atlantis were to be like a world in a future Kingdom Hearts game, you know how they interact, you know how Sora interacted with Ianzo on Kingdom Hearts 3 with the gummy phone. Maybe Riku would like go to um or Kyrie would go to like Atlantis and she has her gummy phone, and Milo and Ianzo would kind of have like interaction and talk to each other through the gummy phone. Like Milo would take whoever's gummy phone and be like, "Oh, you do research too? Okay, so how do we do this, and that?" Something like that. Something like that'll like push the story forward with whatever game that we're gonna have next. So number 6 on my list is Yozora and Rex. So in Kingdom Hearts 3, not only the world of Toy Story was introduced, but a fictional game entitled Verum Rex was also introduced as well. And in the beginning of Toy Box, we see that Rex basically had his fangirl moment and mistaken Sora for Yozora for the fictional video game character in that game. And I feel like this interaction, kind of like the same thing with what I said with Vin and Hercules. I feel like this interaction would like feel illegal, like if it didn't happen. Um, there's no doubt like there's a possibility of Toy Story coming back into Kingdom Hearts because there's 4 Toy Story movies. And then there's a whole lot of shorts and stuff. Toy Story has been around for the longest, but that's besides the point. There's no doubt in my mind that I feel like Toy Story would definitely come back, whether it's like having the events of the movie go along with the video games of Kingdom Hearts, or it would just have its own storyline. Because you guys know, Kingdom Hearts has a tendency with when it comes to Disney movies, they either follow the exact same events of what happened in the respective movies, or they just like have a completely different storyline. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, when it comes to like certain Disney movies, like there's a lot of this there's a lot of Disney movies that I have seen, and then there's Disney movies that I haven't seen. And with the movies I haven't seen, I legit don't know if Kingdom Hearts follows the same storyline in their respective movies, or they have their own storyline for those worlds, simply because I've never seen those movies before. I think I actually made a video on Disney movies that I've never seen before. When it comes to animation wise, I think that can give you a sense of what movies I haven't seen. The only movie that I have seen since I made that video of the movies that I haven't seen is Peter Pan. And I saw it once. I honestly cannot tell you what happened. I I really don't remember, but I know for a fact in Kingdom Hearts 1, Neverland is not the same. Like, the events that happened in Neverland and Kingdom Hearts 1 is not the same of what happened in the movie. I just feel like that Rex would completely freak out once he finally meets Yozora for the first time. And I feel like Yozora would just kind of like stand there and be emotionless and just completely confused as to why this little toy dinosaur is just like fangirling about him. But in conclusion, I would be incredibly surprised if this interaction does not happen. So last but not least is on my list is going to be none other than the beautiful ladies, Kyrie and Tiana. Now, if we were ever to get a Kyrie Center game, which I wholeheartedly believe that we are going to get, because Nomura said himself he really listens to the criticism, and a lot of us have been begging for Kyrie to get the love and attention that she deserved for about 20 years now. But I feel like Kyrie meeting Tiana would be just perfect, and they had the goals of like just wanting to reach their dreams. Tiana with wanting to own her own restaurant, and Kyrie just like not wanting to stand on the sides and actually help out Sora and just fighting. And now that Sora is gone and she's training underneath Master Aqua, I think that that would be a perfect opportunity for a Kyrie centered game to meet Tiana. And I think she would definitely learn something from her and be inspired, and to learn to like never give up and just work towards your dreams until you get there. It may take a long time, it may seem like forever, but eventually you will get to where you want to be. Also, on another hand, I feel like she would encounter Dr. Facilier, or Shadow Man as he was addressed in the movie. Um, he would like fulfill an empty promise to her in promising to take her to Sora in return of one, either giving into the darkness, or to giving him her Keyblade. And we all know that Kyrie wants to see Sora again, but I feel like she wouldn't put up with that. So like that will end up in like a huge like boss fight, and that would be fun, like fighting Dr. Facilier with like all his voodoo and dark magic and like his cards and stuff. I feel like that would be really fun. And this is actually now going to be the conclusion of today's video. Did you guys agree with any of the interactions that I have mentioned? Who do you want to see interact with one another? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on all of my social media platforms down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.